Okay, so we'll start the sir.
We can start, yes.
Yeah. So the first thing which I wanted to know, globally, the insurance companies, if you see the balance sheets, most are into stress because of COVID claims and all that. What is the situation like in India and especially in your company?
I think my view is it's yet early days for COVID.
Yeah.
We've had a slight impact, negative impact on customer acquisition, and very little. It's been much better than we all expected. I think probably the entire industry expected, and persistency as of now. But if this thing persists, the pandemic situation persists for much longer, then I think we could see the impacts coming in customer acquisition and retention. But as of now, it's early days and no real impact on customer acquisition and retention. The other reason could be the stock market has actually been buoyant in the last 4 months, surprisingly. Although the macro indicators have been contradictory, the stock market has not been volatile or bearish. It's been buoyant. So I think that is the big reason to play. The unit-linked policies, our persistency has yet been good, and we are attracting new business into unit-linked also.
That's good.
So to summarize, I think the first 4 months have not been as bad as we expected. And I think I speak for the entire company in terms of acquisition and in terms of retention. We as a company expected a much worse picture.
Okay. Fine. And what about redemption, sir? Are there a lot of redemptions coming or not?
No, that's exactly what I said. So far, we haven't seen too much of pressure or retention or redemption or surrenders. It's probably as much as it was last year at this time. But if this thing protracts, if this thing persists, if the pandemic situation persists, we could see some pressure on surrenders and redemptions and lapsations. But as of now, seems to be under control.
That's good. And we've received some claims, death claims regarding COVID.
Well, that also, Mr. Jain, Vivek, has been under control. We've not received any. We've not had a great spike in the claims. Anything far greater than what we had last year at this time. But I guess I think because of the lockdown situations, I think claim intimation is taking some time. And once I think unlocking starts, possibly the claims can start pouring in. But as of now, I think it's pretty much under control in our claims.
Okay.
It's probably because to do with the intimation of claims and because of lockdown and the courier facilities not working everywhere and the mail facility is not working everywhere. Intimation of the claim is probably taking some time. Okay, there could be a pipeline waiting for us. But as of now, what we've received is well under control. It's almost as much, our total claim base is almost as much as it was last year. So nothing dramatic or critical has been called yet. So to summarize, nothing dramatic on new business, persistency, redemption, surrenders, and claims as of now, at least. As of now. But if the situation protracts, we could see a deterioration in all these three parameters.
Okay. So yours has been basically a bank assurance focused company only. So you have agents network and all that?
We have, yes, you're right, Vivek. We are primarily banker driven. We had two large banks, shareholders and distributors, which was IDBI Bank and Federal Bank.
Yeah.
We have a peripheral agency. We have 64 branches and about 12,000 agents. Now, however, with IDBI Bank diluting some stake and through ages and the distribution of IDBI Bank almost coming to naught. There used to be 50%, there used to be a dominant distributor for us. We have to grow our proprietary channels like agency, online, group, direct sales team. So as of now, we have a peripheral agency which we want to grow in a calibrated, profitable manner.
You have any plan for developing agents network?
Yes, absolutely. We have a plan to develop with especially with IDBI Bank now. almost the business is almost single digits of what it used to be. We have to compensate, and I don't think agency can compensate exactly how much we're losing through IDBI, but I think it's a start. We'll have to develop proprietary channels, agency included.
Okay. And looking for some tie-ups also with banks?
Definitely. I mean, I think open architecture, which the regulator announced a few years back, has opened up horizons and avenues for us. So we are pretty bullish. We have a business development team working on second and third tie-ups with banks. So we're quite hopeful that something should fructify. But we need to. Banks, according to me, will be the dominant distributor in India for many years to come. So I think to truly compensate the loss of IDBI business, we will need to get one or two mid-sized banks.
But so most of the banks already have tie-ups with some of the other insurance companies.
They do. But there's always a possibility with some tie-ups which expiring, or some tie-ups not working. Banks looking to explore other insurance companies. They utilize open architecture where each bank is allowed 3 life insurance companies.
Yeah.
So there is a universe of banks who are on the lookout for companies.
Okay. What about these cooperative banks, sir? Because they are big in numbers.
Cooperative banks have not been too successful in bank insurance. However, they have a big in number, like you rightly said. And they are pretty unexplored at the moment, but they do not have a very successful track record as of now. But I think I think there is potential there to be exploited.
Yeah, because the big cooperative or the big scheduled bank like SVC and all that, I think
that's right.
They can generate huge number of.
The corporate banks have a large branch footprint.
Yeah,
no doubt about that. So far, they've not been too successful in selling life insurance so far. Okay. But I think there's a lot of unexplored potential there. They could be a useful fit.
Okay. So, what are your plans for? Like, you think there's a big market in rural area?
I think there's a huge market in rural area. In fact, today most of our 65% of our policies which we source through the banks come through the rural branches, and the branches designated to be in rural areas.
Okay.
So I think cities like Bombay, tier 1 cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta, Chennai, Bangalore are overbanked and overinsured. I think the potential lies in the tier 2, tier 3 cities and the rural areas. And in fact, a lot of our business comes from that areas, from both the banks.
Okay.
And surprisingly, I think that intuitively you might feel that the ticket sizes of rural areas would be lesser than the cities, but the ticket sizes are as much as the tier 1 city, and the persistency is possibly as good. So I think there's a real potential in exploiting rural I wouldn't say rural, I'll say tier 2, tier 3 cities.
And here, I think even cooperative banks are very prominent.
They are.
So I think they can be a good target in times to come.
Yes, if you want a micro concentrated strategy of a particular region or a particular state or a particular city or rural area, then I think rural development banks, RRBs, and cooperative banks could be a useful fit.
Okay, so overall, what do you see like times to come for the insurance industry?
I think if you'd asked me this question about 5 or 6 months back, pre-COVID, I think my outlook would have been extremely bullish, because ever since I think demonetization was announced, which was over 3 years back, I think the insurance industry has been on a growth trajectory, year on year. However, the COVID situation has been a bit of a setback. it's a minor blip, I think, on the radar. The plus side of COVID is the awareness for protection term plans and especially health insurance has increased amongst customers. So I think my outlook in the short term would be guarded because of this COVID situation. One doesn't know how long this pandemic will persist.
Last.
But yes, but I think in the in the long term, I think my outlook will yet remain is more bullish because there are clearly two positives which have happened in the insurance industry. One is the awareness for insurance has increased, especially term and health, and probably non-participating products. The awareness amongst the general consumers for insurance increased. And two, I think the entire insurance industry has accelerated its digital journey. So these are the two plus points amongst a lot of negatives in this COVID environment. And I think these two things will stand the insurance companies in great stead. They've found creative, innovative ways of reaching out to the customer. They've relaxed in writing. The regulator has taken some laudable steps in making it more, to making reach more possible. Insurance companies have accelerated digital journey. They've launched new online term plans with a lot of creativity. So I think all this augurs well. I think sometimes a crisis forces you to think differently. And I think that's exactly what's happened. So although the short-term outlook would not be very positive because of social distancing and the aversion of people to meet up with agents and bankers to buy insurance. My medium to long-term outlook, once this pandemic settles, is I think insurance there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand and there's going to be a big bounce back.
So you feel next year will be much more better because this year, though, by the time vaccine comes and given,
I
think this year will go.
I think this year realistically looks like nothing's much going to happen. But I don't know how much of next year also we'll get. It all depends on how the vaccine comes and how it is administered to everybody, how quickly it is administered to everybody, and how the results are. So I think I can't put a finger on when this crisis or when this challenge or tension might end. But I can say one thing, that once people are more comfortable, I mean, insurance is going to bounce back in a big way.
That's good. At least that is what we all are looking forward, so that things comes into control.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been through 4-5 months of lockdown now, and I think for the entire industry, I think it's not been as bad as we had forecasted 4 months back. I mean, I think everybody's at 80 to 95% of their business, which they achieved last year at this time. So, and in fact, a few companies are even showing growth, and that shows that's a big thumbs up to the digitalization and the push of these insurance companies in troubled times. So I think the industry has responded extremely well.
That's great, sir. Okay, sir. It's all is fine, sir.
All well, Vivek. Always a pleasure speaking to you. You're doing a great job, I always say. Keep up the good work, and good luck to you.